And we're back.
We're back. Are you okay? Jeez.
No, I'm fine. Do you think we've like blown out the levels on a lot of these?
Um,
No, it's not too bad actually.
that'll be for me to find out when I eventually edit this.
Yeah.
Which will probably be next
Yeah,
week.
we should put a limiter on it. Oh well.
Probably should have, but
You live and learn.
it's too late now. Or we could have done.
And then you
Maybe we'll do this next. Maybe we'll try this next time. I actually have lav mics for real now.
Oh, you have wired lavs?
Yeah, I bought. It came with them. Like I got a pack that came.
Why
with
aren't we using those?
Because laziness.
Okay, fine. We'll use them next time. It'll be like tomorrow.
And then we'll
probably.
do the levels.
We'll
Probably.
be like, "Hello, I'm using a lav."
Yeah.
It'll be the crispest, cleanest sound that Nothing Cast has ever had. Because this is probably a step up from our last one.
I hope so. Or it still sucks. I don't know.
No, I've recorded like soundscapes on these before,
And it sounds pretty good.
it was really nice. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so it should be fine then.
Yeah. So you had a pitch.
Here's my pitch.
Yeah.
Okay, so last episode we talked about video games that we liked from our childhood.
/ adulthood.
Because
we never
because
grew
we
up.
just kept playing the same series.
But the newer versions, or just the old games in the
Yeah, and it's
series.
like, oh, I haven't played this one yet and stuff.
Yeah, like I'm doing a playthrough of Fire Red right now.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, and I'm playing Breath of the Wild right now.
yeah.
I'm doing all the side quests.
Mhm.
And you get medals if you beat all there's environmental bosses, so like you'll just like walk around and then you're like oh cool, a big rock, and you climb on it and the rock's fucking alive and then you gotta fight it and it's like cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then like so there's just like a bunch of those like around, and if you beat all of them you get like a medal. So now I'm like trying to do that. But the other
Greg.
So
What was the real thing we were talking about?
So we were talking about things that informed our childhood, and I thought it'd be fun to talk about another big franchise that has just as much crazy lore as Star Wars or Zelda or Pokemon, but is a different franchise, and it's cemented in the early 2000s.
That's where it died.
Where it lived and died. And it's, of course, Bionicle.
Bionicle.
Bionicle's fucking cool.
I remember we had the one video game, Bionicle Heroes.
Yeah.
That basically played like a Lego game.
Yeah.
But with Bionicles. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, but it was also like a third-person
It was like a third-person shooter where every Bionicle was a different type of gun.
Yeah.
So like there's the Bionicle that was the shotgun, the Bionicle that was like
yeah.
the machine gun,
Mm-hmm.
the Bionicle that was the sniper rifle.
Yeah. One of them was the rocket launcher.
One was rocket launcher. One of them was kind of like a flamethrower, but it was the water one. The water one was closer to a flamethrower, and the fire one was closer to a machine gun.
Right. Well, it's like
and then the other
machine gun is the coolest one.
Missile launcher, and the other guy had like a grenade launcher.
Yeah.
That one was really fun because if you upgrade the grenades, they would like stick to things and like.
Oh yeah, that was sick.
We should just buy a copy.
I know. I was trying to find it, but I can't find it.
Really, it's not anywhere.
Yeah, I was because I watched this hour-long video.
Looking it on Amazon now.
I watched this hour-long video. Well, I was trying to find it in like vintage game stores and stuff like that, and I couldn't find it. But yeah, so I watched this hour-long video that was like Bionicle was really cool. Here's an in-depth analysis of like all the lore and stuff, and it was like it was really cool, and it was this whole what was it about like why did Bionicle work? Because it's such a weird mishmash of ideas.
It works for me for the same reason that like I gravitate towards like Pokemon and Fire Emblem and like I don't know other things where it's like there's just like and like even Star Wars for like the same reason where it's just like I'm an indecisive person, so I love collections of things more so than individual things themselves, and I find it so satisfying to see these collections of things and like so it's like that it's like so like for Bionicle it's like there's the white one and it's kind of like the ice one and the green one's like the jungle one, the blue one was like the wire one, the red one's like the fire one, and like the brown or black they were like mountains or something, I don't know.
The black and brown one, it's rock and ground type.
Rock and ground type, yeah.
It's like, called something different, but it's rock and ground type.
Earth
for Pokemon.
and Aura or
Earth and Stone.
Stone,
I think.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. But the point is that for me, it was so I love seeing colorful teams of things work together
Right.
where they all have different, and there's 6 Bionicles, and you have a party of 6 Pokemon. So it's just like it was like that, but like an action like Pokemon's like so like nerdy and like whatever, and like it's like I'm using like bugs and shit.
Yeah,
like,
well, because
and then
Pokemon was literally based. The guy who made it was based on when he was a kid.
Yeah, and he
like
collected bugs. Yeah,
like
so
a weird nerd.
So
and
so Pokemon is more like it's like Pokemon is like who I am. But Bionicle is like who I wish I could be. Where it's like these action. It's like those, but they're action heroes.
Yeah.
And like they're also it's also about like kids who like get these action hero abilities. So it's like you're vicariously living through these characters as well. Where it's like it's like you're walking around, you're a kid, you touch a stone, and now you're a full grown adult. Like whoa.
Like the way the thing about like one of the things this video pointed out that I'm like, oh yes. Yeah, that's it exactly. Is Bionicles is pretty much the same as Power Rangers, where there's a red one and a blue one, and the red one's kind of the leader because red's a lot of people's favorite color is when they're a kid and stuff, and like because red's the coolest one, and they all like have like really generic elemental powers and stuff, and like they all have to team up, and you know you work together and all that stuff, but it's like very similar to Power Rangers, but
yeah. Okay, Bionicle Heroes on Amazon. Sorry,
does it exist on Amazon?
$30 for GameCube, like $10 for the PlayStation 2.
Right on.
Yeah. Well, it's $2.95, but with shipping it's like $5 additional. So it's like $10.
So that makes it $10. Yeah. But anyways, get it for PS2, then we can play through it.
Yeah.
From start.
PS2 is the one I own. So
yeah. Well, we have a GameCube still, but that's way cheaper, so there's no reason not to.
Yeah, I'll just buy that right now. Proceed to check. I'm making great life decisions right now.
I'll pay you back the $1 for it, and then we'll split it.
The total comes to $10.05. Do you want it coming to this house?
Oh, good question.
No, I have the PS2 at Humber. I'll just get it there.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
But like, cool.
Right.
We should also. I don't know when.
$10 well spent.
If anyone's listening to this podcast, I'm gonna pitch a spin-off podcast in the middle of this Bionicle episode.
Okay.
Which is backdoor pilot of something I really want to try, even though there's no market for it and it's a bad idea and there's no reason that we should be doing it.
You're just describing Nothing Cast.
That's a good point. Is a spin-off gaming show called PS Tuesdays, where we play PS2 games.
We had PS Tuesdays for a while at Humber, where we play PS2 games on Tuesdays.
Yeah, but I'm saying we should make that a show.
Yeah.
Where we play PS2 games on Tuesday. And that's the show. And that's it. That's the whole pitch.
I mean, do you still have Elgato? Like,
oh, I might. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll go find out.
Because, like, I'd be so down for that. Like, next year, I'm going to have my own place, and, like, I'll have, like, actual free time, because I'll be working, which is interesting.
That makes sense.
It does, because when you're a student, your work comes home with you, but when you have a job, you just work, and then you leave work, and you don't have to do work anymore.
And you won't be tired at all after working all day.
No, it'll be like
you've thought this through very.
I have. It's like
I'll have lots of free time.
No, I will.
I'll have a full time.
I'll have more free time than I have right now. I'll have my evenings off every day, and then I'll have a weekend off at least of some sort. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you won't have a wife or anything to spend.
No.
Want to spend time with, so we can just hang out.
I won't be spending time with my wife at all.
And then we can just play PS2 games.
I mean, if it's one night of the week, it's fine. Like I'll just be like,
tonight is PS Tuesday.
It's PS Tuesday night is Tuesday, so I hope that's cool, babe. And then she'll probably be like, whatever or something. I don't know.
Because we still have to beat Gauntlet. We still have to beat the other Gauntlet game.
Yeah.
We should play through like Lego Star Wars or something. So again, even though we already did that a while ago, but it'd be fun to do it still.
I feel like we haven't done it in like 5 years. I feel there's so many things where it's like, oh yeah, I should do that again, and because I haven't done that in a long time. And the time I did that was 5 years ago.
Right. Well, the last time.
I haven't seen this movie in a while, and it's like that was 5 years ago. I feel my life's always gonna be like that.
Right.
That's just how time works.
anyways, if you're watching this podcast, which I know you're not, but if you are, let me know if you think PS Tuesdays is a good idea.
So
I think it is.
Would it be like a gaming channel?
It would be this.
We're screen cap the game and stuff.
Yeah, it'd be the same thing as this, where we do like we play like an hour of a game, and we just shoot the shit.
Yeah.
About whatever.
I mean, that's what's great about Gauntlet is that it's
it's perfect for shooting the shit. But like we could also play games that like we played a little bit of God of War. I don't know if you played anymore or not.
I haven't really.
But I'm like, this is kind of fun, and I'd be down to like play some like PS2 games that we totally skipped.
Yeah, because I have a bunch.
Because we mostly stuck to Nintendo consoles, and so there's like a ton of games that are like nostalgic in the era that we're from, because they're
more
from
so
when we were
kids. Yeah.
But we totally missed the game, so it'd still be like a new experience, you know.
I like Spider-Man for the PS2. And like there's a lot of good titles, and like Metal Gear Solid 3, which is like really hard and like frustrating, but you know it's because I'm bad at stealth. That's a whole other story, but anyways. Like Max Payne.
I don't know. I think it'd be really fun.
Yeah, that'll be good. There's so many games for the PS2.
Yeah, and it's got a big library, and a lot of people talk about like, oh, PS2, man, one of the great gaming.
I mean, like even consoles. That, like I know we didn't own one growing up, but like
we did end up playing.
Our friends had them.
Yeah, our friends had them a lot, so we ended up playing a lot of PS2 games.
So like that startup. Is
it's still kind of nostalgic.
Yeah.
Just from like playing it at friends' houses and stuff like that.
So you've done it enough times. So Bionicles.
Right, so that's why. So Bionicle, it's this cool toy, right? Like it's like Legos making an action figure, and it's cool. I never thought of it that way. That's what it is.
That's literally what it is, and they did a really good job because they can actually incorporate those pieces into their other Lego pieces. Like it's all the same.
Yeah, that's another thing that I love about Lego is their sets are pretty universal, and you can connect anything with anything. Unlike some of the Lego ripoffs, like Mega Bloks, where like even though some of the pieces are like the same size, they're like custom they customize their pieces more for the set. So like if it's like a castle set, the pieces will like look like castle bricks or whatever. But because of that, they're all shaped like slightly different, and sometimes they don't connect with like different sets that are unrelated, and it's like why would you build it like that? Like that. So
like Lego, the stud has always been the same size for Lego, and they've never changed that.
And that's like brilliant. That's why they're like still relevant. Like that's why they've
among
been
toys.
That's why they're the most successful of like that kind of toy.
It's because they made themselves timeless in that way, where you can pick up any of your old Lego and slap it on a new Lego with ease.
Yeah, and there's nothing,
little to no trouble.
Yeah, there might be some new pieces now, but they still connect in the same way that all the old pieces do. It's really, really clever.
So then Lego made an action figure.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, so like you'd think it would just be like, yeah, it's just like this cool robot guys, and there's a red one who shoots fire, and there's a blue one that shoots water or whatever, and you can pick your favorite color, and you get a cool action figure. It's a cool robot. No. It's not just that. It's like an insane amount of lore behind it as well. Like equivalent to like the Star Wars universe, like or
thick textbooks.
Like there's novels, like several novels of just the first generation of Toa and their adventures. And then there's like, and that's like the first like 2 years. There's like 6 novels of shit they did, and it went for like 10 years.
Oh my gosh!
Like and there's movies, multiple movies, and like a comic book series, and like it's dense. And like, why is that more why was that more appealing to like 6-year-old me? Like, oh, there's a fucking movie about this robot guy. Now I want to play with it even more. Now that I know I have to learn all this backstory.
It's like George Lucas as a kid.
Like, I don't know. What is it about that? Like, Because like now, that's something I think it's your young. I think it has to do with being a kid. Because now that's something that intimidates me about like certain series,
like Game of Thrones.
Like
do I want to get into this? Because I haven't read any of the books, and like I know there's all this lore and stuff to it, but it's like, you know, I think I'm keeping up just from what I've seen.
I think that's part of why I haven't like really gotten into Star Trek. Is like I like the J.J. Abrams movies because they're fun, and like Star Wars movies, but that helped me introduce me to the characters. And then I watched a bunch of the old Star Trek movies, and I'm like, these are pretty fun. I like these characters. But like I find it hard to get into the series, like the actual shows, which is what Star Trek is really, because it's just like, yeah, there's 6 shows and they all have 7 seasons each, and all the seasons have like 25 episodes
of the original series.
Yes, but like of Next Generation, which is like, oh well, that's the
Deep Space Nine.
Generation
Voyager.
is the best version of Star Trek, and there's like 10 seasons of that, and then you got to watch Voyager and all these other ones, and it's like, fuck, man, like that's a lot of lore, and I don't know if my brain can handle it all, but it probably can because I have
J.J. Abrams and Alex Kurtzman came along and were like, fuck it, it's an action movie. It's Star Wars. It's not Star Trek. It's not the Star Trek you know. It's just Star Wars now.
But like, and I think I don't know but like with Bionicle, like there's just as much dumb lore in Bionicle as any of these other friends. And like, I feel like that helped it. Like I feel like that was part of the appeal. Am I wrong in saying that at the time?
No, because like
that's at least it was for me. Maybe I'm just a huge nerd and actually I do like that shit.
You're not wrong, because
I'm lying to myself about Star Trek.
It was part of that was that really like kind of tied into like book orders and like that kind of culture of things.
Oh yes,
where it's like you get the book and then the book would come with like a necklace or something. Yeah, Bionicle was all over that shit. I feel like they had like their books.
They were definitely their books were definitely in the like Scholastic book fairs. And holy shit.
Yeah,
I literally just had a memory of me buying the first Bionicle book I ever owned at a Scholastic book fair and being like so hype.
Yeah, so they had book fairs, book orders, like that was like that was the shit, right?
Yeah.
So it was part of that. It was just part of that era that you just did things like that and just you made these extensive lore things for kids, because books for kids was like, I don't know what it's like now, but like books for kids, for whatever reason, you built these fantasy universes that you could monopolize on them. Yeah. Right.
Do you think that was partially Harry Potter that did that?
I don't know, because like they didn't, like, I don't know. You didn't really get like the
no, it's still different, because you're talking about like the Magic Treehouse series and stuff like that.
I'm talking about stuff where it's like the point of Bionicle is that there's all these things, so it's like you can buy the book of Bionicle always about just the red Toas and where they come from and like all that stuff.
The point of it is that it is.
It's just that there's always with volcanoes.
There's always more of it. Yeah. Like Harry Potter was like, it was telling a story. They were gonna make a lot of money doing it and make a lot of books and a lot of movies.
But the point is
they were still telling like one story.
Yeah.
Where Bionicle was like, it's a fucking franchise.
We're gonna
make games. We're gonna make comic books. We're gonna make
detail about it.
Yeah.
And as a kid, that was just cool, because it's like all those like. All the combination of all those things were like, that you like as a kid.
There was something. Okay, there was something the video that I saw where they phrased it really well, of like the perfect blend of like somewhat familiar but also like really mysterious about Bionicle is because it's just like, oh, it's this cool robot guy and he's got a flame sword or whatever, right? But like, what's his deal, you know? And then it's like, oh, well, let me tell you about the Toa, and like, it's this whole thing, and then like every chapter of the like Bionicle saga that like kept unfolding just like added more lore and more questions. Yeah. Like you were still getting kind of answers as it went, but then you also get like 10 more questions, and it was, but it also like all kind of felt like it was still part of the same universe and stuff. Yeah. Like I think it's actually like really good at world building. Like even though I'm like, I don't know, trying to be like, you know, it's a cool robot guy and he's got and there's a red one and a green one pick your favorite color. Kids collect all the colors. Kids like colors. Give them all colors. Yeah. I don't know. But, like, I think there's actually something, like, really kind of brilliant about it. And I'm trying to pinpoint what that was exactly.
Well, then you could, like you'd actually, like, physically get them, right? And then you could make it with, like, 6 arms. And, like, you could do whatever you want, like, once you had them. Like, you could pull them apart. And...
Yeah. They were saying something about... You remember when they did Hero Factory?
Yeah.
Where it was just they tried to do Bionicle again.
Then they rebooted Bionicle.
And then it failed.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember we got them.
We bought them. I went all in, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it again. And but it just didn't take off the way it did the first time. And I think
it's because it's a different era.
It was a different era. They didn't give it the same marketing push that they did the first time. Where they're like,
here's
Bionicles.
There were so many Bionicles.
Yeah, there were
so many different ones.
And and there's a book, and there's a movie, and there's like games coming out.
No, it was like there was like
you can go online and like watch the trailers and like learn about the lore and stuff. And like they had like flash games for some of them when they came out and stuff like that. Like they marketed the shit out of Bionicles, and they so many like hype commercials.
Oh my gosh, commercials featuring All American Rejects.
Featuring All American Rejects and shit.
Yeah,
but like even
All American Rejects is such an interesting part of the early 2000s. Like just like that, like, well, it's that whole like pop punk thing, right? But like I watched a movie from the early 2000s, like within the last year. And the lead singer is just like one of the actors in the movie. I'm like, wait, is that the All American Rejects? Like it's the lead singer, and he's hanging out with people that look kind of like his band, but they aren't his band. Like he was the only one from the band in the movie. But it was just like you could just do stuff like that in the early 2000s because everything was just part of everything, like in that weird kind of way where like the early 2000s was just like this blob of like all these things happening at the same time. Like it wasn't like, oh, your music is over here, your toys are over here. It's like, no, fuck it, it's just Bionicles, and it's like raining and shit. And it's Move Along by the All American Rejects, and we all remember that commercial.
And everyone's in high school and
perpetually, like, it's like that was the early 2000s. Was like, and like Bionicle like really kind of like lived and died within that kind of bubble of things.
Yeah,
so
but
it's probably why it didn't take off again. It's because it wasn't the early 2000s.
It was such a product of its time.
Such a product of its time.
Even though it had this like huge mythology to it, and it had this like, which is like kind of timeless.
It tried to be timeless, but it was dated because it was made because everything from the early 2000s is dated. That's the thing.
Because it was like because everything about it was also like how they marketed it. Like that was how most people, like, Bionicle did have, like, an ongoing comic series and, like, all these novels that, like, told you the story and stuff. But most people knew, like, what the general story was, either based on the few movies they did, which were, like, a pretty big deal for kids, at least. But also, like, just the commercials. Like, the commercials, like, had these, like, cool-ass, like, chunks of just enough story to, like, know who's the good guys, who's the bad guys, who's fighting who, what are they after, you gotta get the Mask of Light or whatever.
Because the bad guys were also like a series of colored dudes.
Yeah, and they like changed and evolved depending on the different versions. And like one of, I just remember the you know the like so the it was the Inika, right? The Move Along guys.
Yeah.
And they fight the Paraka and whatever, and it's cool. But then the arc after that, they go underwater.
So it's all the same characters.
It's all the same guys.
They're underwater.
But now and so they have all new outfits. So you got to buy the new toys.
The Toa Mari.
That's it, Mari. But like that whole thing is, it's like, oh shit. So this is like the next level. They have to go on. Like I don't know. It's something about like I just have like all these distinct memories of watching the commercials over and over again and being like super hyped.
Yeah.
And they had great music.
You know what? And great music and like cinematography that like was similar to like it reminds me, I'm getting an image in my head that's so similar to, like, remember that first, like, Force Awakens trailer? Like, you see all those stormtroopers in, like, that, like, carrier thing? It was literally
they had shots like that. Where they're in this, like, submarine that's, like, plummeting to, like, literally the bottom of the ocean, and they don't have their masks on yet, and they're just, like, waiting, like, ready for this, like, crazy mission that they're going on.
They're trying to get, like, this mask that's at the bottom of the ocean. There's, like, this, like, kid or something, like, tries to find it, and then it's, like... And the
fish monster and the Bionicles that live underwater are like they're evil fish people that are just like crazy, like
creatures.
Fish creature monsters. Where before it was just like, they're kind of like the Toa, but bad. Yeah. This time it was just like, no, it's fucking crazy fish monsters. And
right.
One of them is like a kraken or whatever.
They always kept those interesting as well, which is like, I think...
Like the villains and stuff?
Yeah. Part of why this was like, a thing that people liked and talked about, those trailers were like, they put as much effort into those as like cinematic game trailers.
Yeah.
There was no video game.
There's no game.
You just had to go to the
store. You had to buy the toy and then play out the story yourself.
Yeah, which was like so strange. Like, and I don't think there's anything else like that we've had since.
No,
because Transformers is like the toy advertises the movie, and the show, and the show advertises the toy, and it's in a weird circle.
The video I watched a bunch of the other videos because I'm like, he just did videos about like other Lego stuff. And I'm like, I'm into this. This is cool. Yeah. But he talked about like Lego Ninjago when that came out. It's the closest thing we've had from Lego to Bionicle since Bionicle, because it's gone for like many years, and it has like. And because it's gone so long, it has a really complicated lore, and like the characters keep evolving, and there's like a red one and a green one and a blue one or whatever, and they all have different powers or whatever. I don't know Ninjago that well, but there's a
red one,
and there was a movie and stuff.
I think it was red, blue, black, white, and then like the white character like turned out to be a robot. And it's like, that's like canon.
Right.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah,
it's like so weird.
It's the lore just gets like nuts and stuff. But like, it's I don't know. I don't know. There's just Bionicle was very of its time, but also like very unique. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just a cool toy. It was like a weird cultural phenomenon. Because it was also it also had movies and games and all this other stuff, which I know I keep saying and that's not really a good reason for why something is cool, is that there's a lot of it.
But it was successful.
We
talked about them.
We had all that stuff because it had all that stuff because it was successful.
All of them because they were weird and cool.
Yeah, and it was I don't know. It's just, is it one of those you had to be there kind of things?
Yeah, I don't know. And like, it's funny. It's funny you made the point about Power Rangers, because it reminded me of that, where it's like they would have like different generations of them. So like, we were of the generation where like the kids who were older than us had like the old Bionicles.
Yeah, the original ones.
We had like the slightly newer ones, and then
we came in right in the Mask of Light era, which is
they were like gladiators at one point.
Yeah. Oh, I want to get to that, but okay. So here's the Bionicle plot. Yeah. Here's all of it.
I remember the movie.
So the Mask of Light, right?
Yeah.
That's when we came in.
Yeah, Mask of Light.
So it's the tail end of the original Toa, basically.
Yeah.
Right? So the original ones, they had like the classic mask that's the logo for Bionicle. That was the red guy.
Yeah.
And then the second version of them, they all got like upgraded or whatever. And we had a couple of those toys.
Yeah.
And those were the Mask of Light models. And they fought like the Rockshi and stuff. We had some of the Rockshi.
Yeah. And
so then Mask of Light happens. They make the Gold Toa, who's just the Green Ranger from Power Rangers.
Yeah.
and then wait, where's they going with this? Right, so then they do Bionicle 2, which is a prequel
to Bionicle 1.
Bionicle 1, Mask of Light.
Where it's all the old Toa.
Where it's all the
old Toa from the beginning, but like in their prime.
Yeah, so it's all like the mentor guys from Mask of Light.
Yeah.
Turns out they were Toa back in the day, and so it's like they were the first Toa.
And it's them in their prime.
And it's them in their prime, and it's their story.
And the first Toa.
Yeah. And then
Bionicle
3 Web of Shadows comes out.
And it's a sidequel.
And it's a sidequel to 2. And it takes place
still before 1.
Still before 1, but technically during 2.
Yes.
And because I remember distinctly
2 ends with
them getting old and like saving all the regular guys who are basically children.
Yeah.
Like the citizens of Bionicle Land.
Yeah.
Matanui. And they save all of them, and then they become old at the end of 2. But then in 3, it's like, well, technically, before they did that, all these spiders showed up and fucking captured the guys again. And so then they had to fight all these spiders.
And they had to get upgrades.
And they had to get upgrades where they get they like shoot spinners or something? I don't know. They shot discs or one of I don't know.
Yeah.
Was that
someone they shot?
They shot discs, and then they shoot the discs at the spiders or whatever, and then they're like, okay, now we can finally rest, and then they go back and do the end of 2 again.
Yeah.
And then
what was 4?
Okay, so then it was like okay, so now it's the Anika who are like the young guys from Mask of Light, but they're Toa now. So like Jaller, who was the friend of the guy who becomes the Gold Ranger, the Gold.
I remember Jaller.
Toa.
Yeah, I remember Jaller.
So he's the main red one of Anika. And then they fight the Paraka. Then they go underwater and do that whole
Jaller,
arc.
Holly, Gonzo.
I don't remember.
Gudunka.
Do you remember
Nuparu,
one of the
Huiki?
Are you just naming all of them?
Yeah. This is because
I know one of them
from Bionicle Heroes.
Okay, I know one of them is called Onua, and it's either the black one or the brown one or both. And here's I think what it is. I think one of the brown rangers is Onua, spelled Onewa.
Those are that's
and
like
then
from the original.
There's
Toa.
another one that's the black
one.
one, or the opposite of whatever I said.
Yeah.
And is spelled Onua. Wait, Onua. Yeah, Onua.
Yeah.
And it was so confusing for me because I watched all the movies and they're like, "Hey, Onua, how's it going?" I'm like, I thought Onua was the other guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, they have almost the exact same name.
Yeah.
That's not confusing at all.
But that wasn't of the Anika though. None of the.
No,
Anika
that was
were
before.
Onua.
That was either the old guys from Bionicle 2 or the young guys or both.
Yeah.
Or something.
So then so it's like the kids in
so that was
Bionicle Mask Light are like.
So that was like
Anika.
the next main arc.
Yeah.
And then I kind of lost what the main story of Bionicle was for a while until the 4th movie, which we watched, which came out way later, and that's the one with the gladiators.
Yeah.
So that's what it became.
I remember watching that one, and it was about like the Mask of Light, like the light guy.
So it was about Matsunui, who's like the god of their universe.
Yeah.
But he became a Toa for some reason. They didn't really go into it.
Jesus?
I don't know. They don't really go into it in the movie. Yeah. And then he goes to, I think it's another planet where the gladiators are. Is that right?
It's like Space Hulk?
I think it's basically Planet Hulk.
Planet Hulk?
And then he joins the gladiator fights or whatever, and they do a adventure. I think it's in space.
I remember that. Yeah.
And that was like, and then I don't know how it ended.
That was like the last kind of big.
That was the last
Bionicle was like with Torian.
Yeah, and that one was cool because it was like, all right, we've done like the Toa or whatever. They have to fight the bad guy for like a lot of years now. And so then they're like, let's shake things up a bit. How about this time they're gladiators?
Yeah.
But it was pretty fun from what I remember. And the like 1 or 2 that I had from that version, I thought were pretty cool.
Yeah, no, we got a couple from them, and then, I don't know, was that the one where you had the one and then there was like a little guy that was like the same color as the big guy that kind of went along with it?
Maybe. They definitely did that a couple times.
I think that might have been it.
It might have been it.
I don't know if it was Glutorian. They had like those ones where they had like health on their back, and you would like take them down from.
Was that the gladiator one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the gladiator ones had that.
Yeah, because before that, the like gimmick when they have the gear that like they do the karate chop action.
Bionicle kind of became better made as it went along. And had a new gimmick.
Yeah, like because the first one where they like swing their arm with the gear or whatever, or they kick depending on which one you have.
Yeah.
Then like the gimmick with that is that the masks don't really stay on that well because like the idea is like you make them fight and then whoever the mask falls off loses.
Yeah, because it's like the mask.
Because the masks are like they all have different powers based on the mask.
And it's like if you rip your mask off, it's like you die. Like
right, yeah, like it was like tied to their life force and stuff. And
it was like you could put like a soul in a mask, like
because that's what the Mask of Light was or something.
Yeah, it was a weird thing, but yeah. But yeah, I remember that being part of the kind of the lore and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a really kind of importance around like masks and like
Yeah.
the power and the life that came with them. It would be
Mm-hmm.
like like you wouldn't want Charmander's tail to go out. Like it would be
Yeah,
like that.
it's like that kind of
that.
thing. Yeah. Do you know the whole thing about like the Maori people?
The water one.
No, like the actual Maori. Wait, maybe it's not called Maori. I forget.
These real people in real
These
life?
are people in real life that Bionicle
We
is
just talk
based
about
on.
fake stuff usually.
Okay, but this is really interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
So like Bionicle lore and a lot of the names of stuff, at least in the first wave of Bionicles, is all based on it's like a Samoan, New Zealand, Hawaii tribe, like that area. I can't remember exactly, but the point is, shut up. The point is that it was based on it so closely that they had taken like actual names of like people and stuff and just used it as it's the name of the Bionicle. Fuck you.
Oh my gosh.
And so then like a group of those people like sued Lego.
Well, maybe that's why they stopped.
And so they stopped using the names specifically, but like all that like influence is clearly still there because it's about like all these people that live on an island and then they like have in the later ones they like went to different islands and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the Bionicle, they went to like a different island. I think that's where the Paraka were or something.
Yeah, because their mission was to fight the Paraka. Because Paraka had like, from what I remember from Bionicle Heroes, the game is that the Paraka like they each took over like the different like area that like was their color.
Right, that was supposed to be what the Toa protected or were from or whatever.
Yeah, so it's like the green Paraka took over the jungle area and like was terrorizing all the citizens there. So then like that Nike had to go through and basically clean up. Is the game? It's a big long janitor mission.
Pretty much, but that's like
most. I don't know why they weren't there. They fucked up, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so, but you know, yeah, but like, yeah. So my point was just like it's interesting to me that like all of that like that philosophy of like you wear a mask and you take on this personality and you get the powers of whatever the mask represents and stuff like that's clearly like a thing from like Maori culture or whatever.
Yeah. That
like they just stole. But it's also like one of the things that made Bionicle really interesting and cool.
About robots.
It's about these weird robots that are very like spiritual and like based on like mythology, and they have like a god that they're like
elemental powers.
And elemental powers, and there's this weird contradiction of ideas that like made it really, really unique and interesting. So I don't know. I just think it's cool. And it's like such a weird and comprehensive lore for like for Lego being like, here's a cool robot, they fight, make them fight, and that was like, I don't know. Like they didn't have to go that far with like the lore and shit. They could have just said, whatever. There's a good one and a bad one. They fight in the end. But like they're like, nah, we're gonna like go really deep in like. Every like version is gonna expand the lore, and this time it's Jaller. Remember him? He was the like kid from the last whole arc. Now he's the hero and stuff.
His friends are
him and his friends are now the heroes and shit. And like, you know, like we're gonna explore underwater, and it's like weird and crazy. They have to fight fish monsters and stuff. Like they didn't have to try that hard, you know. But they did, and that's like interesting to me.
Yeah, well, it's like, well, why did they try that hard? Because it was cool, like.
I guess. I think I forget. There was something in the video I watched, which I'm just repeating cool things about Bionicle from, where it was something to do with the like main creator. Like had like a whole pitch and vision of like the world of Bionicle and shit, and they just like kind of let him do it, I guess, because they're like, sure, it's a cool toy, well, whatever you want for the story. The story can be whatever. So if you have this cool idea, you might as well do it. And like, Because the whole, the whole, had you seen the, like, map where it's like, here's all the islands of Matanui, and, like, when you look at all the islands together...
It's the Bionicle logo?
No, it's a guy. It's like a person.
It's not a mask, it's just a...
The first island, the main one that it starts on, is the mask.
Mm-hmm.
Because, but when you include all the other islands of, like, when the Anika showed up and they went to a different island and all the other adventures that happened,
yeah,
like, it looks like a guy.
Okay.
Because the whole world is Matanui.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, that's the god. All of these guys exist, like, on the world, but the world is their god that they're fighting for. It's like these, like, crazy meta ideas. They're, like, really interesting and, like, lore heavy and, like, philosophical and stuff.
They're just kids' robots.
But it's also just like, it's a green robot and he fights the red robot or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think that's one of the things that, like what do you remember about Hero Factory? Because weren't they
Hero Factory? I remember
weren't they just...
they sucked.
That's what I remember.
They were
but,
just
like, why?
Bionicle, but they were easy.
They just
they
looked
were
like
easy to build,
Bionicles.
and they had, like, I don't think they had lore. I think it was just like,
it's just
fuck
like,
it's just a toy. Like,
they're just robots
shut up
or whatever.
Go home. Like, it wasn't like...
Like, it's so just kind of, it's just like, whatever, they're robots, who cares?
Yeah.
And so, like,
it's a Hero Factory. They're built in a factory because they're robots.
Oh no.
It's like we're Bionicles. Did they get, like, born? Like...
Some heroes are born, others are...
Some of them are made in a factory.
Some of them are made in a hero factory.
It's a hero assembly line.
Well, they got,
like... It's literally like saying, like, we don't care. Like, you know...
I don't know. It seemed like they just all... In the Bionicles, it seemed like they just always existed.
Oh, Hero Man number 6. Where did you come from? I came right off the assembly line of generic heroes.
Of generic heroes.
At the Hero Factory.
So they just took everything interesting about Bionicle and got rid of it, basically?
Yeah.
Hero Factory?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad.
And the toys weren't as complex. Like, they were
right, they were, like,
easier.
really... It was just like, here's the arm piece, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Before, when Bionicle, you're struggling with, like, 100 different tiny things to get their arm to work and shit.
And then they had...
But that's also what's cool about it, because you can, like, customize it so much.
They had Ben 10 Bionicles.
Well, okay, was this...
This is kind of during the Hero Factory era.
Was it a Lego product?
Or it was a Lego product.
Okay, so it's like the Star Wars Bionicles. Where it's like, look, it's Darth Vader. He's a Bionicle.
Fucking weird.
They look terrible. The Darth Vader one and, like, the Grievous one. The Grievous one looks great, but, like, then they made, like, Obi-Wan and Rey and shit. They look like fucking garbage.
Because they're robots. They're people.
They're those people. So when you make them look like robots, they look dumb.
Yeah.
But, like, if you make Grievous a robot, who's already a robot, he looks great.
Yeah. No, so, like, these were like, they would take, like, Ben 10 aliens, and, like, they only had, like, 6 of the 10 because some of them were, like, weird,
a blob or something.
Weird, yeah. So, and it was Alien Force, so it was, like, the newer ones. And they were, like, it was just like a Bionicle. It was a little simpler than a Bionicle, and they weren't really encouraging kind of, like, the mixing of pieces as much. But it was still kind of a collect them all factor, and it was just like we just made a Bionicle, but it's Lego. Or like a Ben 10 alien as a Bionicle. So it was like a Lego product for Ben 10, which was, like, I don't know, an interesting partnership.
That is kind of fun.
Yeah.
How much did they promote customization with Bionicle?
Not a lot.
Because I feel like it was just something we did. We're like,
because we were kids.
Oh, this one's got a cool... I'm going to give... I like this sword, but this one's also got a different cool thing. I'm going to combine those two things together. Or it's like...
Yeah, because
we made all kinds of how could I make this guy have all these weapons? I know. Give him 6 arms.
Yeah, right?
And
so
shit like that.
You could do, like, custom stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so much cool custom stuff. And there's, like, some really cool custom Bionicles, like, online.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
I'm sure there's some actual good ones online.
Yeah.
I just remember the ones that we made as kids, which were, like, shitty.
Terrible.
But, like, we thought they were cool, and that's what was important.
Yeah. I made a Bionicle once that was, like, a dog.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I'm into that.
I remember because I took, like, a picture of it.
Nice.
Yeah. I thought it was neat.
Bionicle was the Transformers of our generation.
The early 2000s.
The early 2000s.
It's got to be part of Shred 69 in some way or another.
You should just have one in the background or something.
Yeah, I was seeing where the characters just playing with one another, having a conversation.
What I want to see is like, you know, in like, I don't know, the best example I could think of is like in like Breaking Bad, how like every now and then they like Badger and Skinny Pete, like they talk about Star Trek a lot because like they're actually big Star Trek fans as part of their characters or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, there'll just be like a scene that's like unrelated to anything where it's just them like shooting the shit about Star Trek and stuff. And like you can do that because people know what Star Trek is. I want a scene like that in a movie where like they're just talking about like deep Bionicle lore. Where like, and then in the third movie they have to fight all these spiders.
It's like no one knows what this is though.
But like deeper cut than the movies. Like you go into like the, I don't know, whatever the one where they're underwater is, and it's like, yeah, this time, you know, Jowler's got to do this, and the mask and they're just like, and it's like, or like a Tarantino scene where like he references like obscure 70s movies, like they're normal movies that people have seen, but like I want a scene like that, but with like people referencing Bionicle lore.
Was it that like Jowler and that whole gang, were they going after the Mask of Life as opposed to the Mask of Light?
I think so. Those are two different masks.
Two different masks.
Yeah,
Mask of Light.
Mask of Light is the one from the movie.
Mask of Life.
Because then once the Gold Toe got the Mask of Light, like that was it. He just had it now.
Yeah.
The Mask of Life was another one they had to
different.
get for reasons.
It doesn't matter.
So is that a good episode about Bionicles?
Yeah.
We talk enough about it.
I think we did. So yeah, cool toy.
Cool toy. Really crazy and complicated lore.
Complicated toy.
Complicated toy, but that's also like what's sort of appealing about it.
Yeah,
at
they
the
like
same
tiny
time.
little armor pieces and stuff, and like lots of cool options.
Yeah, this weird contradiction of ideas where it's these robot guys, but it's all based on mythology and like spirituality and shit. And
they don't really talk about the fact that they're robots.
No, because they're I don't know if they are robots in the lore of Bionicle, but like
they just kind of are people.
Because that's just what people are like in that universe. Everyone's a Bionicle or whatever.
Oh man.
And then but it's just like we're calling them robots because that's what they look like. If you didn't know what the fuck a Bionicle was and you saw one, you'd be like, that's a robot. Why is that robot surfing on lava with a sword? That was a great thing they did a lot of the time, where like their weapons also had another purpose.
Yeah. Which
is that their weapons could put them on their feet, and then they could do something with that.
I think it was just a surfboard or
there was
snowboard or
the ice one.
Surfboard.
The ice one had
jungle board.
The ice one had like knives or something.
Yeah.
And then he could put them on his feet, and then they were skis, because he traversed, because he's from the ice layer. Yeah. So he can go on ice and shit. And the fire one had swords, but then you put them together, and now it's a cool surfboard that you can surf on lava with. Because the only thing cooler than surfing is surfing on lava.
I remember this movie as much as I remember Hot Wheels World Race.
Yes, another classic
from early 2000s.
That's another episode we should do. We should rewatch all of the Hot Wheels movies, and then like do a deep like explanation, like journey through all the movies and their lore. But I think they like didn't finish that.
No, they didn't. I remember the one guy got like, they brought back like the one character who was dead as like a Terminator.
Right.
And
like
then,
it had like a lot of
robot. Captured like another character.
Right.
And that's all I remember, and the ending was that.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
But we should relive that.
We should totally do that.
And then talk about it.
They might have come up with another one. I didn't do too much research into it. But yeah. All right. Good nothing talk.
Good nothing talk about Bionicles. I'm sure this is
This is a terrible episode if you've never heard of Bionicles before.